Welcome back to the Barry Charles Footy Show. Yes, indeed. Are you ready for the big game in round 4? The Broncos versus the Dolphins. Oh, kidding. It's the Rabbitohs versus Manly. That's the big game for me. Are you excited about the footy? Or are you disappointed with your team? Well, to start the season, do you think the top 4 was going to be the top 4? The Broncos at top number 1. Number 2, the Dolphins. 3, Manly. And 4, the Warriors. You kidding me? What about the rest of the team? Yeah. Well, you got the Panthers, you got the Titans, the Roosters, and the Bulldogs make the top 8. Where are you, Rabbitohs? Nowhere to be seen at the moment. And at the bottom of the table, the usual suspects, the West Tigers and the Parramatta Eels. What's doing there? Mitchell Moses going to the Roosters. Well, so Paul Kent says, who knows? But I think the Tigers are getting less and less likely by the day because he's just not playing. They're not playing their one, neither is Parramatta. Roosters look more like viable, but we'll see what happens there. Yes, if you want me to make the prediction, I'll keep saying it. I don't think Parramatta will be in the top 8, neither the Tigers. I think their season's already done. I'm sorry for you fans out there, but you could prove me wrong, but they won't win the premiership from here. Before we get to the preview, let's just have a look at Anthony Griffin. He's pretty much been sacked. Why have they not just said, see you later? They said you can reapply for your job. Basically means you're not going to be here next year. I just don't understand it, why the Dragons would do something like this. Who to take over? All the talk is about Ben Hornby, Dean Young, or Jason Ross. But to me, you got to go for someone like a Desi Hasler or Stuart Flanagan. They have proven credentials, winning comps. Even a player like Jeff Tuvey was a good coach, but clearly they're not heading down that track, so I'd go for Dean Young if I was going to pick out of those 3. Obviously, the news here is Jared Hayne going on. Have you seen what he looks like? He looks like he's Officer Wiggum from The Simpsons. He looks like he's had too many donuts or something. He's really let it all out there. But we'll let the judicial system go, see if proven guilty or not. But what about the Kafusi hit? What's doing? Said that it would get a couple weeks. I mean, he deserved to get the few weeks. I don't know about 4 weeks, but he deserved to get it. But the question is Joseph Suaalii, he got away with it. And he would have fine slip on the crazy stuff that how one differs to the other. It should be the same. So interesting to see how that continues on going through the season. I totally disagree with Den and Kip and the boys. I back up Jerry Johns that he got to protect the players. And I do understand what Willie Mason and Justin Hall were saying about the last minute. You haven't got a chance to back out. Sometimes you're going hard out at full pace. I understand that too, but if unfortunately you get it wrong, you just got to cop it. Yes, so it looks a bit like double standards. Suaalii brings in all this money. We've got to keep him there. That's another debate to come. But if you agree with me that Suaalii got away with it and Kafusi really shouldn't, just because Kafusi's a bigger man, I think it's really unfair that Kafusi got that long and Suaalii got nothing. So maybe just put it in the comment below if you agree or disagree with me there. Yes. Well, how do we start the preview? Yes, we do. A grand final rematch. Parramatta Eels at home at Combank Stadium versus the Penny Panthers, who bounced back a couple weeks ago. Now they're fresh off the bye. Are they ready to blow away Parramatta, or Parramatta finally going to get on the board? Ryan Madison's got to try and pay back his teammates for not taking the monetary fine. I have to differ. I don't know. Everyone's saying that he should have taken the fine. Well, it's up to him. If he wants to take 3 weeks off and save his money, I don't have nothing against it, to be honest. I can understand players thinking that, we haven't got him for 3 weeks. I do understand that, man. But at the end of the day, you've got to make a living. And like for some people say, there's not a lot of money, but 4,000 is a lot of money. But anywho, getting back to this match here, I've got a feeling Nathan Cleary and Jerome Luai are ready to make a statement and say, yes, we can do a three-peat. And really, they want to prove that they want to nail down in New South Wales jersey. because they were disappointing last year and they need to bounce back. I'm expecting the Panthers to get home by 13 in this one. The writing's on the wall. I can see Stephen Crichton getting an intercept try to win this game. It seems to be on the cards here. The Luke Gardner needs to step up a bit more, I think, for the Panthers. And Sonny Luke needs to go to that next level as well. He's not young. He's an older player. He needs to really deliver. He's not an epic carousel, but he needs to deliver somewhere near that. Even if he's 70% of epic carousel, that's where he needs to be. Because Tyrone Peachy is ready to go in the reserves, and I think they might be looking at him shortly if Sonny Luke doesn't get going. Brendan's on debut. Good luck for the Eels there with making his debut, and Scott Sorensen is back for the Panthers. But yeah, to me, I just think Penrith all day in this game. They look a bit better on field. I think they'll get it done. But Parramatta, in terms of who they have on the field, they're definitely a chance of winning, but I don't see it on the way they're playing currently. Friday night football sees the Storm taking on who are they taking on? The Tigers, of course. Everything is written on paper that the Storm don't lose 3-0, and they're gonna absolutely go ballistic in this game and come out and go boom against the Tigers. That can certainly happen, but I'm not fully convinced. The Tigers have made some big changes, which they made about halftime last week. Nofuluma's career, will he go to the Storm? Let's talk about that happening. Complete overhaul of the squad. This Luke Brooks, should he be kicked out? Adam Dewey, I thought it was a little bit early to re-sign him. Do I think he's a fullback? No. When they already got two fullbacks in the team, they were playing well. Charlie Staines and Dane Laurie, so I don't understand that predicament when they're both fit. But yes, it's one of those ones I don't know what Benji Marshall and Tim Sheens have got themselves into. The Tigers are playing rudderless, and I just don't understand why Dane Laurie's on the bench. It's just crazy stuff for me. But look at the starting pick. Stefano, Api Carousel, you got Clemmer, Papali'i, John Bateman, and Pole. It's exciting, and it's been proven they've been getting up the yardage up the field, but they're not ending up scoring the tries. So what is doing there? I don't know what's doing there, but they need to get their tech, and I think Luke Brooks has got to go. Storms are obviously without NAS and Ryan Pappenhausen, but seeing the return of Cameron Munster will give them a but obviously the question mark now is Jerome Hughes is out, so it's going to be interesting. But I'm going to go for the Storm in this one, and I think it might be closer than I was expecting. I'm going to go by 12 points and Xavier Coates to score a double. That's my tip of the week here. Let's go to the Friday night game. Obviously the one that most people are anticipating, the top of the table clash. The Dolphins taking on the Brisbane Broncos. Who is going to get it done? Who would have thought the Dolphins would be second on the table in the top 8? Will that continue? I doubt it, but I like it while they're there. Jared Wallace is back, returns from injury, and Mason Ting ready for his second game of football. It's good to see him back on the field. But the loss of Kafusi, the enforcer, I think is going to dent some confidence in the Dolphins. And Anthony Milford is a possibility of returning. There's no guarantee, but Katoa is a little bit injured, but we'll see if he gets ready for the game. But the Broncos, pretty much 1-17. And to be honest, if they're the real deal in 2023, they'll win this game easily. And with Reece Ross to score a try, I think when man and match performance, I think the winner's on the cards. And I'm going to say they're going to win by 13, the Broncos. I think they should get this one done. Now, let's go to Saturday night football. There's only 2 games this round, interesting. But anyway, Cowboys versus the Titans, another derby in Queensland. This is one of these games that the question marks are Cowboys desperately need to win, but it's the loss of Scott Drinkwater going to cost them this season. They're going to have to find some form, and they're going to have to find a quick James Tamau's back on the bench. That will help. Griffin into the starting line with Ruben Cott out. That's a big loss for them. The Titans run out 1-17. What I've seen last week of the Titans, I'm not convinced at all that they're going to be ready for this game. I was singing the praises. The Cowboys are going to be more desperate to me and need to win, and I think they're going to get it done. But not that big. I think they'll just get a win, 6 points, be happy, win the game. And I'm going to say Tommy Denon's going to score the try to get it done. The Titans, obviously the Kieran Foran issues. Is they going to bubble up this week? Jaden Campbell, should he be starting? I always said he should be starting at fullback, but they've gone another way. So where do you fit all these players into the team? That is the biggest question. You also got Toby Sexton not even in the team at all, playing reserve grade. So at least they've got some depth, but they just not finding it. But they got the win. So we're all complaining about everything, but they got the win. And they're in the top 8, so what are we complaining about? The Cowboys aren't in the top 8. But I expect the Cowboys to get this one done. And the next game on Saturday Night Football, I think it's the game of the round. Rabbitohs versus Manly. The Rabbitohs have concerns from South with Hamiseli out again with concussion, and Shaq Mitchell out injury-wise. And Tavita Tola is out as well for a couple of weeks with a foot injury. They just can't get it done with the injuries. The Rabbitohs can't take a trick. But this is a statement game for both teams. Manly can say that we are the #1 team this month. They're trying to knock off Broncos off their perch on the Dolphins. But the Rabbitohs want to make a statement and say we're still a premiership force, because this spine on paper is very good. They just need to bounce back. Lachlan Ilias, after outstanding game 1, he's gone lost and see afterwards. This is going to be one of these Josh Schuster's playing outstanding for Manly, of course. It's going to be an entertaining game. Campbell Graham, he's really pushing to be in the Origin team this year. Cody Walker, he needs to deliver. And I believe he's going to deliver and score a try. I think he's been out of sorts. He needs to bounce back if the Rabbitohs are going to win. And that's my case for the Rabbitohs to win. And I'm going to say by 1 point. I think Cody Walker's going to get it done. But yeah, the Rabbitohs, I'm not completely convinced with all the injuries that they can get it done. But I'm still going to pick them. But I can see Manly winning as well. Let's go to Super Sunday, because there's 3 games on Super Sunday this week, with the Warriors back in Auckland taking on the Bulldogs. A game that could be entertaining, could be high scoring, but depending on if the Warriors continue their newfound defeats. If they continue to do that, I think they'll get home in this one. But the Bulldogs have seemed to be a bogey team for the Bulldogs over the years. So there's some big things going to happen in this game. Wade Egan's a big loss for the Warriors, absolutely big loss. Freddie Lusker comes in, but he's not the same player. But Jackson Ford and Nickel Clockstead back in, they're big ins. Jazz Tavaga having another game under his belt, and the way the forward pack's going for Noah Blake and the likes. They're flying at the moment. They're going very well. Bunty for Tom Ale, over 100 metres. Outstanding for the Warriors. And obviously the way Sean Johnson is starting to get into some form. I was critical in the first couple of games, but he's really starting to bounce back to being their more calm player that the Warriors desperately need. It's going to be an interesting game. Obviously, the Adekar and Matt Burden show. Jake Carraz, he was outstanding. Paul Alamoti. I mean, there's some big young stars of the game in the Bulldogs team coming through. Whether they can get it done in the halves might be the question mark. So I think just the way the Warriors are playing defensively, I think they can get this done by 12. And I'm going to go with Edward Cossey to score a try. Yes, now the next game. We got the Raiders taking on the Knights. Both teams desperate to get a win. Obviously, the Raiders did get the win last week, but they need to do it again. The Knights have Jaden Brayley, Jack Johns, Daniel Safiti. Tyson Purcell is a chance to be a late inclusion. But I think the big rumour for you is another big rumour for the Roosters. Dominic Young is going to ask for an immediate release to go to the Roosters. I believe that is on the cards. He's kicking stones from what I hear. And I think he played bad on purpose. This is all rumour. But I tell you what, there would be a good story for the Roosters anyway. But the Knights, I think Adam O'Brien is on his last breath as well. I think he'll be sacked before the end of the year. Josh Papali is back. He's going to help Tapane out, which I think is bad news for the Knights and their fans, because I think Raiders are going to get it done from what I've seen. And I think the Raiders by 12 in this one. And with Jack Whiten to score a try. The final game of the round, I've got a funny feeling the Dragons are in for a bad game. I think it could be the blowout of the season. Well, maybe not quite the blowout of the season because the Sharks defensively aren't the greatest as yet. But I think Anthony Griffin might have coached this last game. I mean, he might have a bit more thrust to saying, no, I'll just keep playing to the end of the season. But if I was Anthony Griffin, I'd be saying, see you later, take the money and run. The player unrest has been happening since last year. I'm surprised he wasn't gone last year. I mean, players not turning up for the fan from the end of year function is just crazy, and how the Dragons had it there late in the year was another crazy moment as well, to be honest. And with Nico Hines returning, I'm expecting a big game from him, and I'm going to put it out there for you Sharkies fans. I can expect them to win by 30 points. This could be a long game for the Dragons. I believe Griffin's is on his last legs. If he continues, it just sounds crazy. But he can prove me wrong with a win here today. But I hope you like this show, the Barry Charles Footy Show. This is the preview show for round 4. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Share this video all around the world so Rugby League gets to everyone around the world. And I'll see you at the next video. Take care.